For the past 15 years, whom we met 15 years ago in Israel when we were all studying here for the year. And my husband and I stayed in Israel, and our friends went back to America. The husband is a conservative rabbi, so for the past decade or so, they've been living in one of the wealthiest Jewish communities in the United States, and the husband has been a conservative rabbi there. So we got an email from them this past winter that they were planning to spend this coming year in Israel. So we were really, really excited to have a chance to reconnect with them. So this past week, the wife stopped by, and she suggested that this coming Shabbat that we would get together in the playground next to our house, otherwise known as the playground with the red slide. And the playground with the red slide has pros and it has cons. So I'll start with the cons, with the bad things. The playground with the red slide is called the playground with the red slide because really almost all that there is in it is a playground, almost all there is in it is a red slide. There's a red slide and a bouncy motorcycle. So really there's really almost nothing to do there. On top of that, every evening, especially in the summers, some kids from the neighborhood who are bored, who don't have anything to do, they hang out in the playground with the red slide, and they spend the whole night eating tons and tons of sunflower seeds. So basically, by the time I go there in the morning with my kids, the whole ground is covered. It's like a carpet of sunflower seed shells. On the positive side, the pros of the playground with the red slide is that this playground, every afternoon, there's about 20 or even 25 kids playing there, and about 15 or 20 mothers hanging out there and talking and exchanging advice about pediatricians and recipes and talking about whatever mothers talk about. It ends up being this really a fun place to hang out. So this past Shabbat, at 5 p.m., I went outside to, my husband and I went outside to meet our friends in the playground with the red slide. And so I went out with all the kids, and I sat down on the bench. And when I looked out at the playground with the red slide, I was in for a really big shock. My jaw dropped. I looked where the bouncy motorcycle used to be, and it was no longer. Apparently, in the middle of the night, somebody had come and sawed off the bouncy motorcycle so that all that was left in the playground with the red slide was a red slide. So I felt so disappointed and so frustrated. I just felt like this was so obnoxious and so cruel that somebody had come and taken, and stolen the bouncy motorcycle when all these, over the course of the week, hundreds and hundreds of kids come and play there. I just felt like it was above and beyond obnoxious. So, and also I looked around and I saw that the neighborhood kids had been there once again, and they had eaten so many sunflower seeds, and there was like a whole slew of sunflower seed shells all over the place. And I just thought, this is so awful and so so obnoxious that my kids need a place to play, and here it's just in such terrible condition here. I thought that when my friends come, here's my friends, they live in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the United States. They're going to come, and this is really an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to bring them to the playground with the red slide. As soon as they come, I'm going to tell them that we should go together to Gan Soccer, that we'll go together to a big park where all of our kids can play. So as soon as my friends came, a few minutes later, I suggested to them that we could go to a bigger park. But they said, no, we like this park, it's okay. So I was, embarrassed. But we stayed, we sat down, and we were talking, and my friends were filling me in on what they've been doing for the past 10 years in this community where our friend is a conservative rabbi. They were telling me sort of the downsides of their life there. They were saying that really after 5th grade that there's no place that they can get a good Jewish education for their children. They said that in their whole community, that their children are the only kids that their kids are the only kids who keep kosher, who keep the holidays, who are interested in learning Torah, that there's no one around who's even somewhat observant, you know? So they said, that's why we've decided to come here for the year. We came to Israel because we need to spiritually recharge. They said, but then my friend who's the rabbi, he said, but you know, we came here for the year. But when I look around at this playground, and I see, and all of a sudden my heart fell. And I just knew what he was going to say. He was going to say, you know, we came here for the year to spiritually recharge. But when I look around at this playground, and I see that it's in such disgusting condition, and it's such an embarrassment, and it's so awful, that I think, how could we live in a country that has playgrounds like this? But in fact, what my friend said, he said, you know, we came here for the year because we want to spiritually recharge. But when I look around at this playground and I see all the kids, all the little girls in their Shabbat dresses, I see all the little boys in their button-up shirts for Shabbat, and all of them running around with their special bag of Shabbat trees, and I see my kids among them. You know, he said, you know, where we live, my kids are basically the only kids who even know when it's Shabbat that it is Shabbat. He said, I come here, he said, and I see this, and I feel in Jerusalem, you know, the holiness of Shabbat. He said, I don't know how we could ever live anywhere else. I don't know how we could ever go back, how we could ever leave a place like this. So I want to bless all of us. You know, we're in the middle of summer vacation, and summer vacation is often a trying time for mothers. It's a time when, you know, when we have less time for ourselves, when we have less time for our projects, when our kids are out of school and there's a lot more work for us to do. It can often be a frustrating and difficult and very trying time. But I want to bless all of us that we, on frequent occasions, should have the opportunity to see the tremendous and incomparable blessings and gifts of our lives as mothers through new eyes, as I was blessed to see them this Shabbat afternoon in the playground with the red slide. Have an amazing week. כי אין מילה בלשוני, אין